happening in Oz.
The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
Marc, obviously, this has been a couple decade-long endeavor. I'm curious for you, what was it about Jon's vision that made him the perfect person to bring this to the screen?
I did start this 24 years ago and went on stage first, and then I waited many, many, many years to make the film. And there were actually many reasons why I wanted to wait to make the film, but the one reason that I wasn't really aware of is that I had to wait for this man to raise his hand and say how much he loved Wicked and how much he wanted to direct the film. And Jon has, as you can see, imagination that knows no bounds. And when you're building a world, you want that imagination. But I would say with all that talent, the thing that is the most significant is the heart that this man has and the humanity that he has and the ability to understand the other. After speaking to Jon, he understood that empowerment and the complication, and he could portray that very well. And so it was a really easy, joyous decision to make.
Jon, for you, your history with Wicked does go back a beat. So when you first saw that production back in San Francisco, to think of that young man then to this man sitting before us now, what does it mean to have brought it to the screen in this way and to have such an incredible response from all of these people?
I mean, it's a dream come true. Unbelievable when I think back at the moment that I sat in that chair. But when I saw it, I saw the movie. I felt like this is the most cinematic stage show I have ever felt. And even though it didn't have all the cinematic things on that stage, it made me feel the cinematic things. And I always remember that time that I saw it. This is, again, before it went to Broadway with my mom, because it is that childlike wonder that evoked in me, that I have pick points in my brain of, I literally imagined her actually flying around us, and I thought they did that. No, she just was on a lift and the thing. And so that helped me sort of as we built the movie to really translate those feelings of what it felt like into a physical with cinematic tools to extend those.
With you, Cynthia and Ariana, you're able to fully embody in all ways all of those imaginations that Jon had when he saw it that first time. What was the key to it for you?
Right before we really begun, I asked to be in flight training and flying immediately just so I could get used to being in the air that way. And then my wonderful vocal coach, Antea Bachet, was with me every step of the way. So when we were on set filming that, the moment she heard what my voice was doing and knew what I needed to do, she would set me up so I could actually sing in the harness up in the air, because your breath has to be placed very differently. Usually if you're singing big old notes and you're belting, you need the ground beneath you to force back up. Antea was really instrumental in making sure that I could figure out how to place everything and where to find the ground in the air, which is kind of what I had to do. It's like pushing down on nothing, but almost having to imagine what would push back.
Well, for me, I had a little bit of physical training as well. It was Pilates every day. And for the vocal element, I would say I started training with my vocal coach, Eric Vitro, 2.5 to 3 months before my first audition. It was really important to me that my vocal register sounded unrecognizable and just completely different and authentically classical and operatic. And I wanted it to sound full and warm. And I just wanted to be able to use any tool that was needed, just in case.
Let's talk about the Ozdust Ballroom. So for the two of you, tell me a little bit about just how real that was for the two of you as you stepped into that incredible set and have this moment of connection.
Our wonderful choreographer, Chris Scott, and Comfort Fudoku, and Will, I think Loftus, they choreographed a piece for me, and when I saw it, I was like, yes, but no. Because I didn't see Elphaba in it, and I hadn't discovered how she moved, and so what I wanted was to find out what's her language of movement. I didn't want it to feel like she doesn't know how to dance, she doesn't know how to move, she just understands movement in a very, very different way. And I knew that if she was taking the hat off and then having to put it back on, there had to be a reason for her to put the hat back on. So I asked them, well, what's the journey through this movement that expresses her loneliness, her want to take up space, her hurt, and the challenge to Glinda to see her as a full person, and then what is the journey to making sure that the hat over there belongs back on her head. I felt, because we know the hat is such an emblem, she had to imbue it with power. So that dance was both her owning the space for herself, calling out and asking for connection, and imbuing the hat with power. The wonderful thing that Ari did was not learn that dance, really, but on purpose, so that when we meet, she's being taught by Elphaba what that dance is, what that movement is. So they have to connect. They have to come together. Both of them take a risk in that moment, one to be seen and the other to learn. And then they finally see each other for really for the first time. That's where they really meet.
I think up until that very point, Galinda's greatest fear in life would probably have been to be laughed at by that many people. When she sees what she has done to Elphaba in that moment, something else completely replaces that, and it's the pain that she has caused in this other person that doesn't deserve it. It's a pivotal turning point for her because her whole life she's been told yes, and she's had a lot of friends, and she's very popular, but she's never had someone hold up the mirror and question herself and what kind of person she is. And in that moment, I think Elphaba does that for her, and they both make their first and only true friend.
Alice, tell me about capturing that.
I've known Jon Chu for 25 years. We met at USC Film School and I shot his short musical there. I'm incredibly lucky to have such a long relationship with him because when we start to talk about a script, all we talk about is emotion. And he also usually asks me what my goal is for a movie. And on this movie, I said, my goal is that it's the greatest love story between these two women, these best friends. So when we're here in the Ozdust, it is the heart of the movie. If this scene works, then the rest of the movie works. Jon always presents me with lots of challenges. And one of the challenges was that he wanted to cover Cynthia's close-up first, because he wanted her to walk down those stairs for the first time and feel people laughing at her, feel what it feels like to be looked at in that way. And then he also said, we're going to shoot 360 degrees, and it's 10 minutes long. And I said, are you crazy? We ended up doing 500 lighting cues during that sequence as we spin around her over and over and over again. And it took weeks of going in and refining it and refining it and refining it before we ever shot that scene. And so just to be the space for that performance to take place and witness that was pretty magical.
That too is your job as well, Paul, in that scenario, is to be conscious of what you are creating in these incredible costumes. So tell me a little bit about that challenge for you when you're creating.
I mean, it's just, the greatest thing to have the opportunity to dress these two beautiful women and their beings. I can do, a slew of sketches, and that's what I did. I lived vicariously as these characters to make decisions, but those are just ideas, and they were approved by Jon and they were approved by Marc. It wasn't until I was with both Cynthia and Ari and really figuring out what of this works for you, what doesn't work for you, how can we make this better for each of you. I mean, that's the beautiful part of what I'm able to do. How it manifests itself, that's the gravy that you get from working with these two women.
I know we're supposed to be done, but I have to ask you one last question because you did a really beautiful thing here in Defying Gravity and really having Elphaba face and see her younger self.
yes, you're faced with Defying Gravity, and you think, okay, everyone knows this song. It's like the anthem of this piece, and everyone loves it. And you think, what am I going to do that won't take it away from what people love, but will still be able to tell the truth of the matter? When I got to sing the words, I really meant it. But then when I understood that I had to earn it by looking at my younger self and deciding to take her with me and heal her first, I realized that I actually had to do some of that for myself. So I could understand what that actually meant to look at your younger self and go, hey, come with me. Sorry. So I could look at my younger self and say, come with me. We've done it, we're okay now. So that when we sing, I'm defying gravity, and nobody in all of us is ever gonna bring me down. I meant it, because I could do it. Don't get gifts like that every day, so I don't take it for granted. And I just wanted to make everyone in the room who is helping me make that possible proud. A lot of people put a lot of things on the line in order to make that happen. So I don't believe I did it on my own at all. I believe there was 100 people in the room doing that with me and defying gravity at the same time. So thank you for helping me do that.
Well, thank you all for truly making us all take a look at our younger selves and taking them with us, and take them with you as you go out into the world today with a little bit more kindness. Thank you so much. Congratulations.